Hello folks, it is wonderful to be back after a month being away from any work whatsoever. Some mornings when I used to observe my daughter planning her grad school coursework down to the semester with color codes, timelines, and contingency plans, it makes me happy and smile. I don't believe that she knows it, but I do think that she is channeling a bit of Japan without even realizing it. In all likelihood, my wife, all my kids and I are still carrying some of it too. Back in 2004, I used to drive along the beautiful countryside-laden English motorway to the headquarters of the world's largest mobile telecommunications company. It was a beautiful daily rhythm with occasional fog on this stunning English countryside. One aspect of English motorways and roads that I have observed that they, the English, displayed gentlemanly and ladylike civility and mannerisms, unlike many other countries. I was thinking about my days on the 101 in California, and worse still, my experience being chauffeured from Delhi to Gurgaon in India in 2006 and 2007. I can assure you that if you try to be so polite in Delhi traffic, then one could end up boxed in like a rookie on a Formula One track. I am quite hopeful that things must have changed a lot for the better since it has been about 18 to 19 years since the global headquarters of the largest mobile telecommunications company in the world where I worked had a different vibe to it. Let me now take you through this working space in England. They had many buildings named after famous inventors. For example, Bell House was named after Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the world's first phone in 1876. The main building, where the global CEO of this company and his immediate team seemed to have an aura of power, strength, and subtle leadership vibe. All this, despite these being the leaders of the largest mobile telecommunications company in the world. One aspect that I did not miss was that the whole place was buzzing with management consultants, with bundles of strategy decks and overconfidence to match. But what stood out to me was the British obsession with verbal precision. These folks could debate for an hour whether something was an assumption, a hypothesis, a forecast, a projection, prediction, and so forth. Every headline on a PowerPoint presentation was deliberated for precision and edited accordingly. In addition to these few countries that I have worked long-term, I have worked short-term stints and or had business trips to places that I have been. I have witnessed firsthand the flawless execution of the Japanese. For those that do not know this, I have had the privilege and pleasure to live in Japan 3 separate times over a period of 5 years. I arrived in Osaka as an expatriate with my family for a large California headquartered American telecommunications company. This was just about when the economic bubble whacked Japan's Nikkei index. My family and I were privileged to live in one of Panasonic's luxurious apartments in Osaka. These apartments were built during Japan's economic boom in the 1990s. My family and I had gold-plated bathroom fittings, heated toilet seats with music and call for help buttons, a sauna, heated flooring in the entire apartment, one single switch to turn off all the lights, and a halogen lamp, base, kitchen, stoves, and oven. Mind you, this was in 1997. The second time we were in Tokyo, my family and I were privileged to live in another brand new luxury apartment building, which was near the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. We were the first and only tenants for quite some time before others moved in. Our last apartment was just a 2-minute walk across the road to a famous park that is nestled between embassies and cherry blossoms in a locale known for luxury living of highly paid expatriates, ambassadors, and consuls. The Japanese work ethic indeed lived up to its reputation. And then some. My team was made up of brilliant, hard-working young professionals who were sharp, diligent, and world-class in their competencies and skill sets. But what really set my Japanese colleagues apart was their execution capabilities. Their planning was so meticulous, it bordered on spiritual. For example, if a project was meant to finish in 4 years, the final milestone would land with precision, down to the week, sometimes to the day. There is no scope creep and certainly no last-minute panic. The Japanese just have relentless and quiet excellence. Delhi was different. The buildings gleamed, the minds dazzled, although the wires were always not where they were supposed to be. Contrast that with my year in Delhi in 2006 to 2007, where I was seconded to the largest telecom player in the country. I had a private office area around the CEO's office area, where all the CXOs of the company were located as well. This company did not just hire talent. They curated it with IIT and IIM graduates, the top technology and business universities, alumni only. Their Gurgaon headquarters felt like a think tank disguised as a major telecommunications company. Not one executive came from outside the top 5 business schools in India. And the brains, really unbelievable. Their grasp of complex mind-bending analytics was staggering. Mind you, this was eons before anyone knew how to spell artificial intelligence. I have worked and managed folks across 4 continents, and I have rarely seen that level of raw analytical and intellectual horsepower. But execution? That is where the daylight between India and Japan really hit me. If Japan was sunrise, radiant, organized, and everything unfolding exactly as expected, then 2007 Delhi was midnight. The Indians truly were brilliant minds in a whirlwind of chaos. I say that with deep affection and with the hope that things have changed since. Knowing India and their determination to be a global superpower, I suspect that they have. Now back to the largest mobile telecommunications company in the world that is based in England. In my office in England in 2004, there was an old Japanese colleague from my Osaka days in 1997. He rarely spoke in meetings, but when he did, he would be able to rebut every consultant in the room with one soft, devastatingly precise sentence. In England, I also had the privilege of leading a global team. I had British, Scottish, Australian, Norwegian, Indian American, Spanish, my Japanese colleague from Osaka, and a very talented, sharp French lady executive that was in my team. She was based in Dusseldorf, where I would fly to from London on a weekly basis. Most importantly, I also had the privilege of having in my team 3 outstanding young British professionals. A few came straight from Oxford and Cambridge with that crisp consultant polish. My boss then was the same boss I had in Osaka and Tokyo. He is a Japanese-American Harvard Business School grad and former top-tier consultant alumni. As you can expect, he was razor sharp and taught me well over the years. In other words, we were a microcosm of the world, all working towards something exceptional. What do you give your children? Beyond stories and vacations. For me, the answer came slowly, through experiences, friendships, fragments of cultures, and one passport stamp at a time. I am eternally grateful for my American citizenship and my American company that offered my family and I so many luxury and cultural memories and opportunities around the world. Last but not least, I am most grateful to my darling wife and kids who made all my transfers a breeze while she had to handle every move, make new friends, and the kids were forced to make new friends in different schools around the world. In my next video, I would elaborate my 14 wonderful years as an expatriate in Dubai. I would also share some truly wild telecom battles in the desert. And through it all, I remain deeply grateful to my family, my bosses, for the people I worked with, the cultures I got to immerse in, and most of all, the memories my family and children now treasure from each country we called home. These weren't just jobs. These are chapters in a once-in-a-lifetime story that will be very hard for me to ever forget.